Good morning, YouTube. It is Saturday, January 27th, 2024. It is 9:23 a.m. Central Standard Time. We are coming off of a historic night in the NBA. Luka, Doncic, 73 points. That is the tied for the fourth most points ever scored in a game. By game score was the second highest game score in history. And I believe number one, a Michael Jordan game, was an overtime game. So this was the best, again, by game score, regulation game in the history of the sport. So, a pretty remarkable game, a pretty remarkable performance from Luka Doncic. What we witnessed last night is the thing of legends. I mean, genuinely. 73 points, 25 of 33, 8 of 13, 15 of 16 now from the free throw line. Now, I want to say something here because this will be important as we move on today. And we talk about officiating and how the game and this and that. Luka had 41 points at halftime with 4 free throws. Okay? 41 points at halftime, shooting 4 free throws. So the man was on one. He was a man possessed. He was a man possessed. 10 rebounds, 7 assists. Could have easily had a triple-double. Some missed threes. I mean, you could probably say that every game about everyone. But man, some of his passes were absolutely insane too. And again, I said this on Locked On. That's like the pass to Exum just kind of shows how great of an offensive mind Luka is. It's just like it's just a basic thing, but damn, it would have been so easy to be like caught up in the moment and shoot that contested step back three. That wasn't really even contested. But a three that would have been a good shot for him, but passing it to Exum, who just had a wide open top of the key three that iced the game, really just kind of showcases how great of an offensive talent and offensive mind Luka is. And I don't know if it's just because, I follow a bunch of Mavericks fans on Twitter, and so when these type of things happen, they're quick to retweet and quote tweet the criticisms onto the timeline. I don't know if that's the case, but it does kind of feel like there's a lot of backhanded discrediting going on. It does kind of feel like there's some backhanded discrediting happening. Like, oh, that was a great. I mean, that's a disgusting shot in any era of the sport. So I want to say this because a common theme I've seen pop up is how, defense in this era is terrible. Like, go watch the 90s, go watch the early 2000s. Yeah, go watch them. Go watch them. I actually urge you to do it. I actually urge you to do it. Every summer, I go visit my dad in Arkansas for like a week or so. And it's like in the dog days of summer. Like, we're way past free agency. Like, we're just bored. Basketball fans are bored. And I'll just chill and have NBA TV on, like in the room I sleep in. And at this point in the year, they're just they're showing old games. And a lot of times it's like 90s games, maybe some early 2000s games. Dude, I just want to be clear and honest with you up front. I've always felt this way. This isn't just because Luka is having a great game, had a great game, and people are trying to discredit by saying, well, in the 90s and shit. Dude, in the 90s, some of these dudes fucking sucked. Like, I'm just going to be real with you, okay? The league is way better from a talent perspective, and these guys are just better. Old heads don't want to hear it, They don't want to pretend like the era they grew up watching basketball in, the era they loved watching basketball in, is just not up to par with this era, but it just isn't. Go watch the games. Seriously, go watch them. We talk about floor spacing in today's NBA, how a lot of teams and the good teams have 5 players on the floor offensively who are good and who could shoot and could put the ball on the floor and do things. Back then, it was like the inverse spacing where you had like 3 players who just sucked. Like fucking sucked. 3 guys who were just terrible. Terrible. Who, like, they didn't, like, they'd be like, well, they got the rebounding specialist out there. And, like, what they mean is the guy only rebounds. He genuinely doesn't do a single other thing on the basketball court. Can't defend, can't shoot, can't score, can't finish, can't pass. Like, you watch games sometimes and you're just like, damn, did they just pick up the tallest person at the local 24-hour? Yeah, people talk about officiating. Can officiating be better? Sure. What they're really seeing and witnessing in the offensive uptick in the league, and you know, Luka himself has said this, that it's easier to score in the NBA than it is in the EuroLeague. The reasoning for that is simple, man. It's floor spacing. It's floor spacing. That there it is. There's your answer. And why is the floor space better? Because these guys are fucking way better. You have to put a body, or at least be mindful of pretty much everybody on the floor at any given moment. And your offensive geniuses like Luka, they just know exactly where to go. They know how to take advantage of the space. And also, I want to say, watching those games, those throwback games, and they'll sometimes just throw a random regular season game on there. Like, there might be like a crazy like statistical thing, but it's not like it's necessarily just like these great scoring performances. Like, it'll just be random games sometimes. Man, I really got to push back a little bit to the officiating shit. It was pretty bad back then too. It was bad back then too. Yeah, and Luka's saying that like it's easier to score in America than Europe. The court's smaller, the spacing is worse, and there's no defensive 3 seconds. So it is a little bit easier to score in the NBA. But trying to diminish a 73 points performance is insane. Did you like the pod where he showed free throws have gone down since the 90s? I'm telling you, like, officiating was bad then too. It was kind of shocking because you just get it pounded into your brain that they let everyone punch. You got to punch people in the face anytime that they drove. Like, oh, they wouldn't have done that in our league. We would have punched them in the face. No, you fucking wouldn't have. No, they wouldn't have. Players are just better now. The shooting skill has changed everything. Players' ability to just drain threes. It's like shocking when you go back and watch. I mean, but like, what do you want them to do would be my question, because our team's supposed to say, hey guys, ball don't stop on Twitter. Ball don't stop on Twitter said that, spacing has ruined the game, and that's all the analytical nerds. So we're actually not going to shoot threes anymore. Everyone step in. We're going to take 16, 17 footers. Okay, we're going to take elbow jumpers. It doesn't matter if it's contested. Okay. Everyone step in and take those shots. Ball don't stop on Twitter is crying again. So go ahead and go ahead and step in, guys. Yeah, I mean, the talent pool is global. It's just crazy. Like, you guys are yearning for a game that I promise you is like... not how you remember it. It used to be you'd see a 70-point game once a generation. Now you see them once a week. What has there been? 4? Four in the last year? I don't know. Modern NBA players and fans who enjoy this should have to apologize for teams back then being horrible. Like, I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. We shouldn't have to apologize and try to rewrite history and discredit current players who are really fucking good and more skilled than players have ever been. Because back then, each team employed one guy whose only job it was to secure rebounds and do nothing else on the basketball court, pretty much. No thanks. I'm not... Dude, they had to legalize playing zone defense. Like, I'm sorry. There is like a nostalgia factor for the like 90s and 2000s basketball that pisses me off a little tiny bit. Why can't we just respect that? Damn, these players are like better than they've ever been. They're more skilled than they've ever been. They're capable of like they're just individual one-on-one skill is just unmatched across the league. It's uncomparable to any other era. I think Dirk era basketball was more aesthetically pleasing. I do think some of it is a little insane. I will agree. Like, some of the scoring stuff is crazy for sure. I'm not going to sit here and get on a defensive, like, oh my God, defense is so bad, when one of the greatest offensive talents the league has ever seen drop 73 points. Like, that's fucking insane to me. That's crazy to me. So, yes, I actually feel for the Lukas stands and the people upset, because it is like the discourse all of a sudden becomes, well, defense is worse. And yeah, there was that one clip. Was it terrible defense? It was terrible defense by the Hawks, but like, there was that one clip going around of Luka having Jalen Johnson in jail and Gortat, or not Gortat. Rashawn Holmes sets the Gortat screen to seal off whoever, Clint Capella. It was just like a nice offensive play. But people are like, my God, look how fucking terrible the defense is. And it's like, well, I mean, that was bad defense, to be fair, but also was like Luka having his defender in prison. I don't know. Incredible game by Luka. Just insanity. I think if you just tossed trying to win the game out the window like the Timberwolves did when Cat had 60 plus points. Oh, here it is. Bro, this has 4 million views. So the full replay was Luka grabbed the rebound and then they got out and ran. So Jalen Johnson was on his back. I mean, it is terrible defense. Don't get me wrong. Like, this is really bad defense. Like, what the fuck is Trae Young doing? But then Rashawn Holmes sets a really nice seal. Why aren't people trying to ball up an entire performance in one play? Because people don't like basketball. Like, people don't like watching the NBA. I don't know what to tell you. Like, people like getting on here and talking about it and shit talking and you know, just slandering people, but then they don't like watching. They don't watch. They like to jack each other off on Twitter about how much better it was in 2001 when random player X was 3 of 14 on long twos. But he did grab 13 rebounds though. He did grab 13 rebounds, so it was cool though. And it was just like it was like the late 90s, early 2000s. So like the TV, the broadcast was a little bit better and like we're just kind of nostalgic about it realistically. Realistically, we're just kind of nostalgic about it, and we miss how we felt and we miss how our lives were back then. So we changed everything in that era to make it seem like it was great because our lives were just better then. And we hate ourselves now. That's just the truth, though. When you think about nostalgia, it's always, wait, am I actually nostalgic for that thing or how I felt during that time? Go watch this defense, kind of hilarious. I already told you guys, man. They show games like these from time to time. Okay.
As we observe Dan Marley, the construction work.
Is this supposed to, like, are modern NBA players supposed to feel bad? Are modern NBA players supposed to feel bad that their spacing isn't like this anymore? Like, are they supposed to apologize? Hey, guys, sorry. I know I scored a lot of points, but hey.
Worker be stuck in cement for the rest of the night. Just a reminder, he was second team all defense that year. This was also the most exercise Oliver Miller got all night. Today, a JV kid would get benched for the rest of the year for this pathetic attempt at a steal. Dan Marley stops. Today, a JV kid would get benched for the rest of the year for this pathetic attempt at a steal. Dan Marley stops playing basketball, starts playing two-hand touch as MJ proceeds to dunk on a future January 6th.
All right, all right. This video is another level of hating I don't really want to get to.
Collaborator, then tell him that Republicans buy sneakers too. Thunder Dan was second team all defense that year after MJ. And somebody tell me, why is Danny Ainge getting whistled for being dunked on here? This isn't even hyperbole. I have never seen defense this bad in my entire life. This is supposed to be that rugged 90s defense. This is the NBA Finals. Dumas watches him go right by him, and Barkley just watch him lay it up.
That's just a nice move.
No one.
Do you think 100
him.
points actually
No one attempts
game
to
actually
stop
happened?
Him. Nothing. A simple
don't know.
baseline drive by MJ causes Marley to almost break his third hip replacement and gives up the easiest jump shot of MJ's life. Instead of attempting to jump or, I don't know, take a...
I mean, this is doing a good job, I guess, showcasing that the defense wasn't as great as everyone makes it out to be, which is what I said earlier. But also, the video is, like, slowed down. So, whenever you, like, slow it down, it is like, wait, why didn't you...
A charge. Chambers decides to cover himself up and close his eyes as if he's being attacked by a swarm of bees. This ferocious crossover almost sent Marley into a different dimension.
All right, this video is just next level hate.
Double team. As MJ runs into his bestie Barkley and starts wildly celebrating, BJ reminds him that they really might be plumbers defending him.
Oh, God. That was funny. Hold on. I need to take a screenshot of this. This is insanity, man. Come on. That is disgusting. You're lying to yourself if you want that. You are fucking lying to yourself if you want this back in the game. There's a difference between, like, collapsing the defense. There's a difference between, like, a player collapsing the defense and then kicking out to a shooter or something like that versus we have 5 guys in the paint.
Marley, the construction worker, be stuck in cement for the rest of the night.
That is actually pathetic. Like, how do we... I love how this is strawman too. If you think there's a scoring issue due to officiating, you must love the shitty 90s. Well, that's what a lot of people bring up. And I'm also, my whole thing is that the players are just way more skilled. There were officiating issues in the 90s as well. Like, it wasn't like they let people punch people in the face. Defenses got called for fouls a lot. Dude, you couldn't play a zone basically. I'm just saying players are way more skilled than ever. I don't know what you're supposed to do. Players are way more skilled than ever. And teams have realized, hey, we could just space the floor. Like, we could shoot threes. We could space the floor with three-point shooters, and it makes life way easier for everyone. $53 in a game isn't fun to watch. So what's the solution then? I like, what's the solution? I would love to know. I feel like I've never heard like a good solution. And I do want to say, I think defense is good. Like, I think there's great individual defenders. There's a lot of great team defenders that do a lot of interesting things. Officiating's always been a problem, though. Like, this idea that, like, they used to just let them club each other is just not true. I mean, you watch old games, and it's just not true. Guys, there's weak foul calls then, too. There's definitely a more concerted effort to foul bait. Even then, that was a thing back then as well. I would just the best solution is absolutely impossible to do. What should happen is a 2-pointer becomes 3 and threes are worth 4. Less of a premium. Yeah, I have heard people say that. That you take away the like absurd analytical advantage of shooting threes. And you don't make them as you don't make them like a that much better than a 2. But man, you're changing the game so much right there. Take away corner threes. That's just such. They would never do that. They would just never do that. I don't think. I just don't know what the solution is. Like, yes, changing a 3 to I have heard that, and that's interesting. But yeah, like you said, that like that would just be hard for the fans too. It's like, wait, so the final scores are what now? And that guy had like the points would be way higher. Still. Like that wouldn't change much. Like that wouldn't change much because players would score so many more points. I don't know. It's difficult. Teams just got to adjust. And I don't know. Like, we thought going to the NFL, like using the NFL as an example, which is incredibly strange for me. The discussion around the NFL was that, like, defense was over. Like, it was over. These quarterbacks were so good, and these receivers were so good, and these offensive coaches were so smart that, like, it was over. Offense was just taking over, and that was going to be that. And then this year was, like, one of the worst offensive years in I don't even know how long. Sometimes people just adjust, and it takes a while. Granted, in the NBA, I'm not entirely sure. Like, it's a nightmare with spacing to defend. It just is. Take away the stupid charge rules of sliding under the guy at the last second. Yeah, I agree. That's one that I agree with. That's a dangerous play. I think we just need to accept it, man, that, like, these guys are just really fucking good. And it's hard. It's hard to defend. And there's not a great fix. Now, what there is encouraging, though, is that there's a lot of really, really good defensive players entering the league. And a lot of these young guys coming up are, like, going to be great, great defenders in Wemby and Chet. Stop letting offensive players seek out the smallest amount of contact and then yell and check up a 15-foot shot that was never going in. Yeah, they can clamp down on that. But there's still going to be stupid high scoring numbers, though, is the thing. Like, You wanted me to be true. I was thinking about this morning because I saw a Terry Rozier clip, and all of this talk about scoring and players wouldn't be able to do this. And man, listen, Terry Rozier, you put him in the early 2000s, he's an all-star, like star level player. Kids are wearing Terry Rozier jerseys today. I'm sorry, that's true though. No, it's true. I'm convinced Terry Rozier would be an all-star in the early 2000s. Smaller guard with that athleticism and individual skill. Yeah, he would have been. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Damn, I was defense. I mean, this is just so annoying, man. It's just like, come on, man. Come on, man. So decade by decade, believe it or not, decade by decade, there is less free throws in the 2020s per game than any other decade in the history of the NBA. Believe it or not. 1940s, they were at 28 free throws per game. 1950s, 35. 1960s, 36. 1970s, 28. 80s, 29. 90s, 26. 2000s, 25. 2010s, 23. And now they're sitting at 22 free throws per game as a team. Now, what's changed dramatically? In the 80s, 3.5 threes a game, and now we're at 35. That really is the major change. Teams just bomb threes now, and they're really good at it. That's the major change. Teams can just space the floor like crazy. Get rid of defensive three, though. There's no longer a need to manufacture spacing. I think that's a rule they could change. But then again, so like you're going to get bullied. So you're going to have a player just sit in the paint. Okay. Teams are just going to 5-out you to death. You think Steve Nash would be an all-star today? Yeah. I think Steve Nash would maybe even be better. Like he'd score more, I think. They'd want him to just shoot more. I do agree that they could. I don't know how much it would change in terms of how many points are being scored, but just aesthetically, clamp down on some of the egregious fouls. That much I agree with. I think that's been true forever, though. I mean, Dwayne Wade was on a generational foul bait run in the mid-2000s, like generational. If Drummond played in the 60s, we might be having vomit-inducing conversations right now. Well, there's also... So, they just weren't as big. They weren't as skilled. They didn't train as hard. They didn't have the modern medicine. Like, sports always evolve, man. These players are just insane now. It's true across all sports. Like, there's a reason why people, like, every sport, people are nostalgic for the old days. I think baseball might be the only sport I can feel like you can't really get it twisted that much. Because, like, in basketball, you can misconstrue players just being way better and way more skilled for, oh, defenses suck now and everyone's soft now. Baseball is like, oh, these dudes suck. Like when baseball is in a rut, it's like, oh, these dudes fucking suck. Like these dudes suck. We need better players. But even then, Shohei is doing unprecedented things. People say there's no short game. So that's the dumbest shit when people complain about home runs. It's like, so you don't want guys to hit home runs? I don't understand. Like, guys are just so much better now in baseball that, like, they hit home runs more, and that's a bad thing. Well, I guess let me take that back. It is kind of a problem in baseball because pitchers are better than ever, and they throw, like, completely and totally unhittable shit. I know nothing about football. So I can't speak to it. Do you think Josh is going to keep his starting 3 spot? I think they probably want Exum to play his way back into that, right? Exum looked pretty good last night. People haven't watched the NHL? No, not me. NHL fans are some committed but odd dudes. Yeah, man, they love their sport. I respect them. Every NHL fan I've ever talked to, like diehard NHL fan, is typically like super nice, and they just really want people like they like, please just watch an NHL game. I promise you'll like it. And it's true. Anytime I watch an NHL game, I enjoy it. It's fun. I love going to hockey games. They're like probably one of the best live sporting events you can go to. I just have no clue what the fuck's going on. I just have no idea what's going on. Good time to start watching the Stars. I've said this before about watching sports. I'm like a psychotic person. In almost anything that I do, I want to know if I'm watching something or keeping up with something. I want to know everything. I don't ever want to feel like I don't know what's going on. So that's why I don't watch sports like I don't know what's going on in. I want to know the players. I want to know the teams. I want to know who's doing what, who's the up and comer. It sounds stupid, but it's just like a weird brain problem I have. It's a weird brain issue I have. I don't understand, like, I just don't understand why. It's funny. I didn't see any of these takes after the Embiid game. Maybe they just didn't pop up. Maybe it's because Mavs fans are quote tweeting them and putting them onto my timeline. But man, I didn't see any of this shit. After the Embiid game. And now all of a sudden, it's defense this, defense that. When like our guy got ethical buckets all night long. I mean, it happened once, and then Cat got 62, Booker got 60 plus, and then Lukas scored 70. It wasn't exactly the same thing a week ago. Man, I don't give a fuck. Luka's game was better than any of those guys. I don't give a shit. Fuck them. Sometimes you just can't play defense on certain guys. Cat is a special case because he literally got benched. Cat was a special one. That was pathetic. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say it. Like, that was really bad. Red scorching hot from 3, and then just his brain shut off in the fourth quarter. It was embarrassing. Yeah, and he got ethered by his coach. Honestly, you've never seen anything like it. You've genuinely never seen anything like it. It is kind of weird, though, that there's been that big of scoring games, though. But how much is it, too? Like, players are competitive. They see these high-scoring games, and they're like, all right, fuck, I had a good first quarter. I got 20 points in the first quarter. Yeah, maybe I got it tonight. And we've seen Booker get into these grooves where he's just like, unstoppable, red hot. Luka getting that Jokic treatment before he won a ring. Yeah, definitely kind of weird. Okay, listen, we could do the defense talk when there's like a bunch of 60s, and when Sadiq Bey dropped 50, people are like, all right, what the fuck's going on? Even though there was a time where Corey Brewer dropped 50. Like, it does randomly happen from time to time where, like, a guy gets 50 and you're like, wait, what? But 73, like, come on now. Can we just enjoy it? Fourth most points in NBA history. It is interesting, too, that, so, very weird parallels. Embiid gets 70 that one night, and then are they still rivals, Embiid and Cat? Former rivals, Embiid and Cat. Cat gets 60, loses. Everyone's just kind of clowning him. Fast forward like a week, Luka drops 73. His rival, Booker, drops 62 and loses. That is kind of strange. The universe works in mysterious ways, huh? So do you have to enjoy Cat 62 as well? I feel like having to respect 73 but not 62 seems odd. In the context, I mean, 73 is so rare. Only, 4 guys have done it ever? 62, how many people have scored over 60? There's a decent amount. I think there's like 70-something 60-point games. Still not a lot, but you can definitely respect it. What makes Cat, you can respect Booker's. Why? I watched this game. The Pacers did a good job in the fourth quarter, but Booker didn't like embarrass himself. He didn't take himself out of the game. He wasn't trying to force too many shots. There wasn't like moments where it was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Where in Cat's game, it was literally that. Like, he lost them the game in the fourth quarter. The Suns just did their typical Phoenix Suns fourth quarter. We have no idea what to do with ourselves. Eric Gordon decided, I'm not shooting wide open threes anymore, guys. I know I'm on the team to do one singular thing pretty much, and that is shoot wide open threes. I'm not doing it. I don't want to. Yeah, he was complaining about not getting shot. Siakam, 31. He's been really good. And how many games did him and Halliburton play together? 1, right? I watched the Suns-Pacers game. I actually have no idea what else happened in the NBA last night, to be honest with you. Rockets blow out the Hornets. Jalen Green went off. I didn't know that. Clippers beat the Raptors by 20. Raptors 13 games below 500. Hey, man. I picked them to finish 14th in the East going into the season. It's probably impossible. It's probably impossible. Oh, it's definitely impossible. Good God. It's definitely impossible. Celtics fans need to realize that Tatum is not going to have those Luka performances. Yeah, that guy's right. Grizzlies beat the Magic. Magic are struggling mightily. The Magic are struggling in a pretty serious way. Cavs beat the Bucks. These two like have a pretty interesting back and forth. What was for breakfast slightly? I literally rolled out of bed and went live. I like if it weren't for Luka last night, I probably would have just slept in. Not done slightly early. If that was Harden yesterday, instead of Luka, he's shooting 50 times to beat Kobe. Luka having 73 on 33 shots is insanity. I actually never thought Luka would get like a scoring game that big. Not because he's not skilled enough. Obviously he is, but God, his shot diet is so crazy. His oh my God, there's an NBA game that starts in 40 minutes. His shot diet is so crazy. His he just plays with so much physicality that I just thought it'd be difficult on the body to score that many points, but you know, Nick said it on Locked On, and I don't know if he said it during the show, but he definitely said it before. Like, this wasn't even a great win for the Mavericks, and I agree. Like, it's cool. The vibes are really high. Lukas scores 73 points, but just from a team perspective, you don't look at this game and say, oh, shit, we're good. Like, we figured some stuff out. The ball's going to get rolling now. Like, you know, it was a great individual performance by Luka that we can celebrate and we can be really happy about. But ultimately, like, doesn't fix a lot of the problems with the team. Kyrie needs to come back. Exum having a good game was really big. Hopefully that gets him going. Pistons Wizards is in an NBA game. Okay, fair. Thunder blow out the Pelicans. Pelicans continue to do this thing where they looked like really good, maybe Western Conference Finals contending teams from time to time, and then just like the worst fucking team you've ever seen the next night. And the Spurs blow out the Trailblazers. Sohan had 31. What did Wemby do? I'm on Wemby watch. 23. All right. An okay Wemby game. 23 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 7 turnovers. Am I the only one who feels like the Rookie of the Year race is over? Oh yeah, that block on Anthony Simons was insane. And then Anthony Simons tweeted about it after. That shit was funny. I think it has to be Wemby. Like I think he's just been better. Well, let me see if I can find the Anthony Simons tweet. Anthony went off for 40 though. Simons is nice, man. That shit's crazy. Look at this block. How did that even happen? Oh my God. Is this the most stacked defensive rookie class in years? It has to be, right? I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, yes, it absolutely has to be. Because Wemby's gonna win 10 Defensive Player of the Years. Chet might sneak in and grab one here and there. Like if Wemby misses some time one season or something, like Chet might sneak in and grab one. But Wemby might go a full decade of winning 80% of the Defensive Player of the Years. Jarris Walker's going to be a great defender. The Thompson twins are both great defenders. Lively. Case and Wallace. It is stacked. I'm like, as like a Mavs fan, I'm scared. I'm scared of the Wemby era. But as an NBA fan, I'm like genuinely very excited for it because it's going to be must see TV every single night. It's going to be must see TV every night, man. It's crazy. '18 draft was pretty insane too. Yeah, 2018 draft is a historically good draft. Defensively, though, is there any Chet rookie dialogue at all? No, I think we all kind of agreed that was just really fucking stupid during the Ben Simmons, Donovan Mitchell thing. What would be interesting if the NBA did like a minutes thing? Kind of like how baseball is like a plate appearance rule for rookie status. Like you have to exceed a certain amount of minutes in a season to like lose your rookie status for voting purposes. So like if a guy who's been around the G League but limited minutes for 2 years finally comes up and plays. Thoughts on Will Hardy? Really good coach. Ben Simmons supposed to be coming back. I do think these second-year rookies do have a huge advantage, though. Being in the NBA for a year despite not playing has to help you hit your stride easier. Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. You're in you're with an NBA, training staff and all of that stuff. Coaching staff, working on your game, watching film, stuff like that. But you are still injured, though. So it's not like you're out there practicing and doing all of that shit. But 100% agree. But Wemby was in a professional organization. I don't know if they don't have the same facilities as an NBA team, obviously, but we looked up Jett Howard stuff like a week or two ago because we were like, wait, is Jett Howard playing? Like, what's going on there? He was doing all right in the G League. Some of these college facilities now, though. Like, it's not like Chet was coming from some small fucking college. He was coming from Gonzaga. Like, I'm sure they have pretty crazy facilities and programs. Oh, yeah, Koulibaly is a great defender as well. Yeah. You even have guys like Toumani Camara. Vince Williams is technically a rookie, right? He's a great defender. Is Vince Williams a rookie? Oh, no, he got some run last year. Thoughts on getting Josh more touches? Josh is better when he's just running out in transition. Mavericks Kings has the highest point total tonight. 8 p.m. Wait, why is this the last game to start tonight? Oh. Imagine if he somehow beat the Celtics again. Rozier, Jimmy on fire that day on Twitter would be a movie. That would be really funny. There's some insane games today. What on earth? Sixers Nuggets again, this time in Denver. Embiid and Jokic both playing. Heat Knicks, that's pretty fun. Clippers Celtics is an absolute banger. I know it's rivalry week, so they have the rivalries on national TV. But man, Clippers Celtics not being a nationally televised game feels like a Somebody dropped the ball there. Somebody fucked that one up. All right, guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can check these out live on playback.tv/slightlybiased. If you're watching this on playback.tv/slightlybiased, you could watch these on the Slightly Biased Clips channel. Yeah.